Hello everyone and welcome to another high-low game of Age of Empires. Today we're going to be flying a kite, well, a kite shield that is, ching as MbL playing as the Byzantines in blue takes on ACCM playing as the Georgians in red. I apologize for the punnery, but in any event, while the players heard their hurtables explore their immediate surroundings, dried out as they are, and try to get their butts up to Castle Age, because we're in Empire Wars mode today, where everyone starts with 28 villagers and a Feudal Age up and running economy. A good time for us to take a look at the Civ matchup we are going to be watching today. The Byzantines are a civilization designed to be as hard as possible to take down. Their buildings get stronger with more HP as the game goes on. They get Town Watch and Town Patrol for free, so they see enemies coming from a mile away. And once the battle finally does start, their monks can heal units twice as fast as normal, which does come in handy since the Byzantines can pump out large quantities of military units with, okay, I didn't know the Georgians had, Michael Jackson scouts, but apparently they do. As I mentioned, the Byzantines can pump out large quantities of military units with discounted camels, skirmishers, and spearman line units. Did MbL just, leave this open for that scout to go through? In any event, the scout does escape. Now, to support their cheaper units, the Byzantines can throw in their unique unit, the Heavy Cavalry Cataphract, which excels at slaughtering infantry, since it can not only be upgraded to get a massive attack bonus against infantry, but to also do trample damage. Economically, the Byzantines should have lots and lots of resources to build an army in the late game, since they only pay 2/3 of the cost of going up to Imperial. And it looks like MbL has drawn first blood. That scout, perhaps, not too sure if it's the original scout that went into the base or not, but overstayed his welcome did the Georgian. Speaking of the Georgians, a very powerful cavalry civilization with a few pretty cool economic features. To start with, all of their mounted units regenerate HP as the game goes on. Let me highlight them. Actually, let me highlight just one. You can take a look at the bottom regeneration rate at 5 HP per minute. 10 in Castle and 15 in Imperial, and they can upgrade their cavalry units to take up 15% less population space. Both of these features, by the way, help them mass their unique unit, the Manaspa, a heavily armored cavalry unit whose attack actually increases when there are other Manaspas or other Nightline units in the vicinity. They pretty much, it's like high school, you know, you get a little bit more confident as you have a few of your friends around, as opposed to when you yourself are just doing something on your own. Now, once the fighting starts, very important for the Georgians to take this the high ground, since all of their units, all of their buildings take 40% less damage when fighting downhill compared to the usual 25. Now, economically, the Georgians do start the game with a free mule cart. Their fortified churches increase the work rate of villagers in the vicinity by 10%, and they can be quite hard to raid, because not only do they pay 25% less to repair buildings, not only can they upgrade their defensive structures to get a +2 attack, and by the way, Town Center technically does count as a defensive structure, as MbL gets a second kill of the game. Not only do they get those two features, but they can also upgrade their towers to deal pass-through damage. So those are the two civilizations. A third kill for our Byzantine, who takes a 3-0 kill lead, as well as a Mother Nature kill lead. Not too sure whose spearman got that kill, possibly the Georgian. But let's take a look at the map. We are on Sandrift. We've been here before. We've seen this map before. There is a dried out riverbed. So again, either we are in the very, very far future, or we are in the very, very distant past. It looks like ACCM has finally managed to get the first kill, as scuffles already erupting. Man, do I love Empire Wars. The battle's just starting immediately. There is no downtime. There is no peaceful Dark Age where you build your settlement, place your lumber camps, etc. You start the game in Empire Wars with a whole bunch of infrastructure, houses, a barracks, blacksmith, mills, and lumber camps, etc. And you just hit the ground running. But everybody's starting in a little bit of a state of depression here. And if you're wondering why this sand is a little bit of a different color than the others, it's because you cannot build anything on this, what do we want to call it, more beige sand. Kill count firmly in the Byzantines corner here with 6-2. So not only can you not build anything around your initial town center, which means no farms for you. That was a Seinfeld reference. And you also can't build anything in the center, which forces you to either build very defensively at home or very offensively on the other side of this dead, dried out riverbed. And the other cool feature of this map, if you take a look at this, this is cracked terrain. Any structure whose center point touches this cracked terrain takes 20% more damage when it is attacked. So not a lot of space, safe spaces rather, to build structures. I mean, if you want to engage into this with a castle, your castle is going to be very vulnerable unless you build it off to the side. So a very cool map that forces a lot of either aggression or a lot of defensive play. As Alliance springs into action, it looks like MbL now has 7 kills to the 2 of his opponents, placing a town center to the front, a town center to the back. He is in the Castle Age. ACCMR Georgian not too far behind, does have 3 more villagers than his opponent, but army count, he is down 13-4. And there we go. ACCM wants nothing to do with the Byzantine. He places a very forward castle, secures his gold, secures the goat, and secures his bag with that castle. It looks like already we've got a Byzantine camel, 25% cheaper camels, 25% cheaper spearmen, 25% cheaper skirmishers. And now that we're in Castle Age, by the way, all Byzantine buildings come with 30% more HP. The Persians with double HP obviously have the tankiest town center, but the Byzantines, their feature applies to all. So for example, look at the stable, 2340 HP compared to the, there it is, stable of the Georgians, 1800 HP. And once we hit Imperial, if we're lucky enough to see Imperial, for the Byzantines, that jumps up to 40% more HP, as he is now making a very interesting attempt to distract ACCM with a small attack to the left, a small attack to the right. Although, small notwithstanding, if he can get in here, he might see some things, he might do some damage. And there's that fortified church. Anything in an 8-tile radius, any villager works 10% more effectively, which is a super cool feature. What got this kill? Definitely not the lion. Oh my god, it might have been the lion. The lion does have 1 kill, and now he's taking on, now he's got 2 kills. Oh my goodness, it's the man-eater of Tsavo here. Where is his partner lion? There's only a few left on the map. Oh, mamma mia. I don't think I remember seeing a lion with 2 kills in the... I'm trying to think. There was one game, I believe, when that did happen, but I don't remember if it was lions or bears or wolves. Oh my. The riverbed, by the way, lined with zebras. So any kind of hunter civilization, the Mongols, the Goths, even perhaps the Georgians, whose hunters can drop food off at a donkey cart, do have a little bit of an advantage. We've got 2 Manaspas out. They've recently been nerfed. It used to be if you had only 5 extra ones in the vicinity, you get a +1 attack. Now you need 7 in the nearby vicinity to get a +1 attack. Remember, 7 Manaspas or Nightline units. And so our Georgian currently only has 3, which means without forging, he is stuck at a 0, loses 1 to a conversion, but MbL loses his monk. So not a terrible trade, although never mind, I say that I see a red monk as well who bit the dust. And so MbL's kill count continuing to expand, 14-6. And if you're wondering why there's an 8 underneath the 14 at the bottom right of your screen, while ACCM only killed 6 units, because this bad boy, this Mufasa lion, kills 2. It looked like spearmen. 1 monk is enough to shoo this entire army away. 1 monk is enough to shoo this entire army away. Army counts are starting to get a little out of control here for our Byzantine, who takes not only an 8 villager lead, but also an 11 army count lead. MbL, oh, we've seen him struggle with housing so many times. He was doing so well, and now he is housed again at 95. But when you're ahead 20 total population, being housed is not the end of the world. Of course, he doesn't know he's ahead 20 population. We know that the scores are basically identical, less than 1% difference. Red and blue colors are flickering in and out. Who is in the lead at any given moment? 1 scout resting on his 1 kill laurels here, as the monk for MbL already has gotten a relic. Now he's going after a 2nd relic. So this map, not a lot of relics, it seems like, unless I am missing something. And there is a Georgian monk out on the map. There is actually 4 Georgian monks out on the map, but they're not gathering relics. They are here in the forward position. How many Manaspas? 6. So he needs 2 more. He is training 3 more. So now once 2 more pop out, we'll see, even without forging, they do come with a +1 attack. Our Georgian needs to start mixing in some light cavalry units here to take care of these monks, because he is losing way too many Manaspas to conversions. 3 more, but he reconverts 1. Bit of a scuffle here on cracked terrain. ACCM is going after the monk to the right. He gets him, and all of a sudden the monk count here in the forward position has been reset to 0 for both players. MbL does have one more monk with full faith, not really doing much. The wall off wasn't complete. The Byzantine crashes into these villagers. Will they get the castle up? It is at 70%. How many villagers constructing it? 5 villagers. Why did he retreat? The wall, I don't know that this wall off is necessarily up. I'm trying to click behind here. Does look like no, it's not. There's the stone wall missing here. And now the castle is up. Oh, never mind. He did complete. I figured there was something behind there. I was desperately trying to click it, and he did complete the wall off. So ACCM's castle in a very forward position. By the way, well placed between 2 pieces of cracked terrain, so not going to take any extra damage. MbL says, I like that idea. I'm just going to build my castle across the riverbed. And so we're just going to stare at each other from the roofs of our castles and hurl insults each other like in Monty Python in the quest for the Holy Grail. Your father was a hamster, says ACCM to MbL's army as it maneuvers around. Let's take a look at that army, by the way, because our Byzantine is heading up to Imperial. 6 camels, 5 monks, 2 converted Manaspa, and no, he brought the scout from the corner of the map. Okay. So MbL really wants to glom up his army into one big death ball. 2 stables, additional ones being placed in the external position. How many monks for both players? 3 for our Georgian, 5 we saw for our Byzantine. Where is the Georgian army? Why is there no Georgian army? I love that ACCM is placing these fortified churches all over the place. Don't be confused by this red squircle here, by the way. This is the 6-tile attack radius. You have to add 2 more tiles in each direction to get that 10% faster work rate, as the Manaspas are now engaging. They don't have bloodlines. They are husbandry augmented, which means they move at a 1.54 tiles speed per second, which is generally faster than most cavalry. But oh no, he runs them through an ass paddling, loses 1 camels and spearmen, literally 2 counter units, and ACCM, for reasons unknown, engages yet again and loses another Manaspa. Now, as quick as they are, they might outrun other heavy cavalry, but they will not outrun the camel that moves at a 1.6 tile per second speed. By the way, take a look. We've got 10 Manaspas. We don't have forging, so even though he has 0 blacksmith attack upgrades for the, well, 0 blacksmith upgrades period, they should come with a +1 attack. Both players in a minute will be in Imperial. Will ACCM be able to keep this castle up from the inevitable Treb bombardment that is about to hit him? MbL's going heavy camels. He's upgrading their armor. Of course, he is. The last thing you want to deal with, the last thing you want to have is a unit without armor against the Manaspa. The Manaspa, just such an incredibly powerful unit. Not only does it move in faster, but its attack speed is also a 1.8, which is a bit quicker than usual, especially against camels, whose attack is a 2. Okay, this guy did not get the memo. Hey, we are not attacking today. We're taking a bit of a break. And the Georgian is now going to use that 25% cheaper repair cost to keep that castle up. He's got enough stone. Oh, he had enough stone for a extra castle, but in the shitty sour position to have to repair this castle, he is wasting his stone. I'm very worried for our Georgian, by the way, because this army is now heavy camels with an 18 attack bonus against cavalry. A few of them do get converted. So ACCM says, you play the conversion game with me, I'll play the conversion game with you. But the numbers here, let's see how well these camels do. Our Georgian does have forging. How many Manaspas does he have now? Only 6, so not enough to get the extra attack bonus, as the camels absolutely ragdoll his army. They are having their way with this army right now, and now they're going after the repairing villagers. The pikemen are trying to stop this. He's got 4 barracks in the forward position. In a second, those pikemen are going to be halberdiers. There they go. But only 6 of them being trained. He says he's got 5. I don't see 5 at all. I see 2 here in the forward position. Where the hell are the other ones? MbL using the cheaper army of the Byzantines to absolutely flood and overwhelm, and whatever he likes, he takes for himself with these 5 monks in the forward position who are going after Manaspas to the south. They're going after halberdiers. He even converts 2 of the halberdiers of the Georgian, whose army count is up to an impressive 13. It was at like 4 or 5 a second ago. But castle to the right is down, castle to the left is down. So confident is our Byzantine that he's not even unpacking that Treb. It is just sitting there looking a pretty, all packed up and nowhere to go. And oh no, ACCM's got the villager count. He's got the fortified churches. What he doesn't have is villagers who are doing things. This is 12 idle villagers right here. He's got 28 idle villagers. And there are more camels. The Manaspas are going after the monks. They should get a good amount, if not all of them, actually. Remember, they are pretty quick. They're pretty light on their feet, despite all that extra armor they have. But fast as they are, they cannot compete with 4 monks converting them. And another castle falls, and literally the second it falls, ACCM says, enough's enough. Have it. Take the map. Take the dry riverbed. I have lost too many castles. I've lost too many units to conversion. And even though the players end up with the same villager count, sometimes the brain gets a little bit ahead of the mouth, and the mouth says the words that the brain thinks it's going to say in like 5 words. Does that make sense? I sound like Charlie Kelly from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when I talk about this. Oh, it's not me. It's not me saying this. It's not me making the mistake. It's my brain, as if there's any kind of real difference between me and my brain. Anyway, not to get too existential on you, the bottom line is the third castle falls, and literally the second it falls, I can't even click on it. ACCM taps out. There's nothing he can do now. He's got way too many idle villagers. He's got a good amount of resources, but why did he not train more Manaspas? That is the question of the hour. How many fortified churches, actually? 5 fortified churches. This is absolutely an incredible display of roiding up your economy. I anticipate the Georgian economy with the same villager count to be, let's say 10% ahead of the Byzantine, just because of that 10% increased work rate. Camels to halberdiers. Obviously, halberdiers win this unless, of course, you're pumping out individual halberdiers, 2 or 3 at a time, and the camels are just swarming over them, as they are swarming over everything right now. Secondary unit, spearmen to Manaspa. I mean, the Manaspa takes this handily. And then 12 monks to 9. Let's take a look at the conversion count. Very curious to see. If you convert an enemy unit, and then your opponent converts that unit back, does Capture Age nullify it? It's like, you know, if you have a bank account and somebody at the bank likes you, so they say, you know what, that $5 monthly fee, we'll take it, but we'll refund it. And then at the end of the day, you have a 0 effect because it withdrew $5, then deposited $5 or canceled it, whatever. Is that how Capture Age works? I wonder. Let's take a look in a second. 16-minute peak APM, 25 minutes. So different times for peak APM for the players. Interesting. It's actually the Byzantine economy that actually, no, never mind. Remove the relic gold. By the way, 4 relics is a good get for MbL. Remove the relic gold and you have almost identical economies. Very interesting. Wood and gold to our Byzantine, food and stone to our Georgian, who perhaps went a little bit too heavy on the stone, got 3 castles up, but didn't really train that many. For somebody with 3 castles, he didn't really train that many Manaspas. 11 conversions out of 100 is 10, actually 11 exactly percent of the Georgian army becoming Byzantine. 6 out of 117 is what, about 5%, between 5 and 6%. So decent conversion numbers for both players, but it is our Byzantine who gets the better number. 3 buildings destroyed are those 3 castles. And the kill count, even though it's a really short game, 26 minutes, we've got almost 200 kills, and MbL at the end of the day just absolutely slaughters the villagers as they build the castle, slaughters them as they repair the castle, and then slaughters them as they head south into the safety of this castle. 23 villager kills to 0. And the Georgian war machine, which always looks so impressive with those Manaspas, because again, if those units, I don't like to use the words OP, overpowered, or, you know, the best unit, but it definitely does seem like the Manaspa is due for a nerf, and this camel seems to agree as he takes a spear to the ribs but is about to decapitate this Manaspa rider. And what an absolute fun game. We got to see so much fast action, and more importantly, we got to see the man-eater of Tsavo here with 2 kills. Although again, I think the man-eaters of Tsavo, I think it was 2 lions. The Ghost in the Darkness, Val Kilmer, Michael Keaton. If you haven't seen that movie, definitely check it out. Spoiler alert is not going to come into effect because the movie is like 30-something years old. Oh, I feel old, maybe 20-something years old. In any event, it was Val Kilmer at the height of Val Kilmer. But Tangent aside, forget the tangent. MbL just absolutely floods the map with that 25% cheaper camel unit. He still has 5 spearmen. They're here, and he's got a few converted Manaspas and halberdiers. At least he had a second ago, and ACCM just cannot compete with the output. MbL just absolutely overwhelms him. ACCM perhaps went a little bit too far on eco, not enough on military, and just never really had the numbers to contest MbL's control here of the center. And MbL now makes landfall on ACCM's side of the shore and says, you know what, I don't care about cracked terrain. Take my archery rangers. I don't give a rat's ass. I've got my 2 castles up. I've got my 5 trebs out, my 2 bombard cannons, and whatever you try to throw at me, I'm just going to convert with my 4 monks, my 4 surviving monks. And it is with that ridiculously powerful army that it is our Byzantine who takes this short but action-packed game. But as always, truly GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.